Undercover owner sat alone in his office, file after file passing beneath his hands, until one stopped him cold, an employee's record marked with a broken hand. At first it seemed like an accident, but the deeper he read, the more the pages bled with silence, fear, and something no one dared to write aloud. This wasn't paperwork anymore. It was a cry for help buried in ink. And what he was about to uncover in those files would rip open a truth so dark it could shatter everything he thought he knew about his own company. It was another ordinary morning in the office. Files stacked high on desks, keyboards clattering, and the quiet hum of routine filled the air. Among the dozens of employees sat Maya, a woman who worked harder than most, rarely missing a day and never raising her voice. To everyone else, she was just another name on the payroll, diligent, quiet, almost invisible. But hidden behind that calm presence was a story no one cared to ask about. Her file showed long hours, perfect attendance, and then a broken hand. Colleagues brushed past her without noticing the strain in her movements, the way she carried herself despite the pain. She blended into the background, but the truth she carried was anything but ordinary. What the undercover owner would soon discover was that Maya's struggle wasn't just about an injury. It was about something far more corrosive, quietly eating away at the heart of the workplace. Maya's life inside the office looked normal to anyone passing by. But the truth was written in small moments, the ones most people ignored. Her broken hand wasn't from clumsiness or an accident at home. It was the result of being pushed too far in a workplace where she was treated differently, day after day. She was given the heaviest loads of work, assignments others refused, and shifts no one wanted. When she struggled, her manager's voice cut through the room, sharp, cold, and humiliating. For others, mistakes were forgiven. For her, every tiny slip became proof that she wasn't good enough. Whispers followed her in break rooms. Colleagues laughed behind her back, disguising their words as jokes, but Maya felt the sting every time. She noticed how her suggestions in meetings were ignored, only to be repeated by someone else minutes later and praised. She noticed the glances when she walked in, the way eyes rolled as if her presence itself was a burden. Yet, through all of it, she kept working, kept showing up, because walking away wasn't an option. She needed this job, and she carried the weight of her silence like a second skin. But silence only fed the cruelty. Her manager began writing her up for things no one else was punished for. 5 minutes late from lunch, a typo in a report, even a moment of resting her hand. The broken hand became his weapon, a reminder that she was slower, weaker, and therefore disposable. And still, she endured. What she didn't know was that someone else was watching. The undercover owner, buried in files and observations, began to notice the pattern. The late-night reports, the medical notes, the discrepancies in how punishments were handed out. It wasn't just an injury. It was evidence of discrimination, building like a storm no one else could see. And then came the breaking point. One afternoon, Maya dropped a stack of papers, her injured hand trembling under the weight. The room fell silent for a moment, and then the manager's voice thundered, tearing her down in front of everyone. "Useless!" he spat, while her co-workers averted their eyes, too afraid or too comfortable to step in. Maya held back tears, forcing herself to bend down and pick up each page, her broken hand shaking with every movement. The owner watched, file in hand, heart pounding. He knew what he was seeing wasn't just unfair, it was something much darker. But what he didn't yet realize was that this was only the surface. The truth buried beneath the paperwork and the silence was about to come crashing out, and when it did, it would shake the entire office to its core. Would he expose it? Or would he, like everyone else, let the injustice slip by unnoticed? The answer was coming, but not yet. The breaking point came on a gray Monday morning. The office buzzed as usual, But beneath the noise was a tension thick enough to choke on. Maya, her injured hand wrapped tightly in bandages, walked in late, just 5 minutes past the hour. For others, it would have been overlooked. For her, it became the stage for humiliation. The manager stormed across the room, slamming her file on the desk with a force that made everyone look up. He unleashed a torrent of accusations, his words sharp as knives, calling her unreliable, weak, and undeserving of her job. Every sentence cut deeper than the last. Maya stood frozen, her cheeks burning, as her co-workers watched in silence. Some glanced away, others smirked, but not a single voice rose to defend her. Then came the final blow. He ordered her to sign a termination notice, claiming her broken hand made her a liability. She stared at the paper, her chest tight, her body trembling. Years of dedication erased with one signature. She knew it wasn't about her performance. It was about something uglier, something no one would say aloud. And that's when it happened. The quiet man in the corner, the Undercover owner, stood up. His chair scraped against the floor, cutting through the silence like thunder. The manager froze, confusion flashing across his face. Every eye in the office turned toward him, unaware of who he truly was. For the first time, Maya felt the weight shift. This wasn't just her battle anymore. The truth was about to break open, and the walls that had hidden the cruelty for so long were finally beginning to crack. What came next would decide everything. The room fell into silence as the Undercover owner revealed who he really was. Manager's arrogance drained from his face, replaced by panic, while Maya stood frozen, her broken hand trembling at her side. For the first time, someone with power had seen what she endured. Every insult, every punishment, every scar disguised as discipline. The truth could no longer be hidden in files or brushed aside as mistakes. The owner didn't just stop at firing the manager. He documented everything. Witness statements, unfair write-ups, the double standards that marked every page of Maya's file. And in that moment, Maya wasn't invisible anymore. She was proof of what so many silently suffer in workplaces around the world: discrimination disguised as professionalism, cruelty passed off as policy. But justice didn't erase the pain. Maya walked out of that office forever changed, carrying both the weight of what she endured and the strength of having survived it. The scars remained, but so did a spark, one that could not be silenced anymore. This story isn't just about one employee in one office. It's about a system that still allows bias to bleed through decisions, stripping people of dignity simply because of who they are. And while Maya's truth came to light because someone finally paid attention, countless others remain unheard. So, the question is, how many more files are out there, holding hidden stories of silence, pain, and injustice? And more importantly, will we choose to ignore them, or finally open our eyes and act?